there's a heavy law enforcement presence here at the Panama City Marina, and law enforcement officials have confirmed with me that they're responding to multiple distressed boaters. I have two residents who were living in these apartments right behind me when the storm hit yesterday. Now, this is a tragedy, and double red flags are flying today, which means the water was closed to the public. And on that top 10 most dangerous beaches list sits Panama City Beach at number 4. After days of trying, we were finally granted an interview with one elected city leader, Panama City Beach Councilwoman Mary Coburn, who says there are no immediate plans to put more lifeguards on the beach. And I want to quickly touch on this. You told me you've already seen some people out here trying to scam those that are trying to recover from the storm damage. What is your message to those that were impacted by the storm? What should they be watching out for? The former city community development director pled no contest today to grand theft, money laundering, and 19 official counts of misconduct. And the Lynn Haven ballot will now be changing for that election, as a special election has also been added due to a commissioner resigning from seat 4 for the city of Lynn Haven on Tuesday. A tornado slammed through the Grand Lagoon area Tuesday morning. I spoke with two men who jumped into action on Tuesday to save others amongst the destruction that surrounded them.
And people screaming for help in the darkness because everything was black.
Even in the darkness, Myson Lucan knew exactly what he had to do.
I opened my door and I could hear people screaming in both directions.
That's when he sprang into action, helping his neighbors. Lucan lived in Unit 113 at Harbor's Edge Condos. His remodeling business is also located here. Somehow, his section of the building is still standing.
I just wanted to help. I was safe, I was okay, and I was able to get to some tools and help them to get people. I was just grateful that I was spared. I was grateful Ryan was spared, and we both just jumped into action.
Lucan's friend and co-worker Ryan Peterson had just moved into a unit on the first floor 6 months ago. Now it's destroyed.
I had to crawl out and then hear people screaming, and we went up and tried to get people off the top level, get them on the ground. He had his ladder out, help people in the building next to us. It's just traumatic, intense.
Lucan says everyone is okay, but going back and reliving what happened on Thomas Drive is difficult.
1 minute it's raining, and then the next day you're homeless, you have no vehicle, and you see the destruction that it left. It's crazy.
I'm back here looking at it right now. I got like a pounding in my chest, just a sense of, I don't know, maybe a little anxiety, or kind of a little fear of the unknown. What's next? Because we got a lot going on. And looking at the damage, it's just, that's huge. The power that came through here, and the fact that we survived, and the fact that all of our neighbors survived is a miracle.
A miracle that they are now paying forward, using their skills to help others pick up the pieces. Despite losing their homes, trucks, and office space, both men are staying strong and finding the light in the darkness.
We're going to be rebuilding from here, but we're grateful that we have our health and our bodies and optimism to rebuild and look forward to coming back. Hey guys, well, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission couldn't confirm a lot of the details with me. They could confirm that 9 people were aboard that pontoon boat, and sadly 2 of them did not make it. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission says they got a call around 10:30 Friday morning about a single vessel boating accident. It happened in the Grand Lagoon in Bay County.
The United States Coast Guard and FWC both responded to the scene, and it was determined that a 26-foot pontoon vessel had overturned. 9 people were ejected and entered the water.
According to the FWC, the Coast Guard recovered everyone on board the boat.
2 of the occupants were transported to Sacred Heart Hospital in Panama City, where they died as a result of their injuries.
The cause of the accident is still under investigation.
Yeah, it's still an active investigation, so Florida Fish and Wildlife and United States Coast Guard are still on scene, and the boat is still in the water, and they're working on trying to get the vessel recovered. Also working with the owner of the vessel to get it recovered.
News Channel 7 is told the FWC could not comment about whether or not the storm was a contributing factor at this time. The 9 passengers were visiting from out of state according to the FWC.
Right now, it's a very difficult time for the family, so our thoughts and prayers are with the family as they kind of navigate this tragic loss, and we encourage the community to keep them in their thoughts and prayers as well.
FWC did confirm that the 2 passengers that died were a woman and a teenager. We're going to update you with more information on WJHG as it's released. For now, reporting live in Bay County, Allison Baker, News Channel 7. Guys, Panama City Police Chief Mark Smith held a press conference earlier this morning giving the details on what they say happened at the Gold Nugget nightclub. Now, they say the man who fired the shots did it in self-defense. One man is dead following an early morning shooting in Panama City.
My officers received calls to there this morning at 4:15 in reference to shots being fired at the club. First officers on scene did find an individual that was deceased in the parking lot.
That man is identified as Angel Contreras. Officers say Contreras left the nightclub as it was closing when Contreras allegedly tried to re-enter the building and discovered he was locked out. That's when things took a turn.
He had been a patron inside the club, had become angry inside the club as they were closing, and came out to his vehicle, retrieved a handgun from inside the vehicle, and began shooting into the club.
Chief Mark Smith with the Panama City Police Department says there were multiple people inside when Contreras began shooting. Police say that's when Glenn Kipple ran to the front door and saw Contreras with a gun.
One of the patrons, who was also armed, exited out and returned to gunfire at the individual that was shooting into the nightclub, thereby killing Angel Contreras.
But officials are not charging the individual that fatally shot another because they say he was acting in self-defense and in defense of others.
All evidence that would indicate that this individual was defending himself and defending others, as the Florida Stand Your Ground law provides for that to take place, and that is what the state attorney's office and our investigation has determined as to what has happened here. So in this case, we will not be pursuing criminal charges.
A law that means you can defend yourself and others in life-threatening situations.
Stand Your Ground law takes you to wherever you are at and says you do not have a duty to retreat, that you have the ability to stand and defend yourself or others. So that is what has been looked at in this case, and that's what we have determined has taken place.
The investigation into the shooting is ongoing. Now, Chief Smith did tell us that Kipple had a concealed weapons license. Again, the department will not be pursuing any criminal charges in this case. Allison Baker, News Channel 7. Back. Stephen, students told me they aren't okay with the state requesting information about transgender students' health data, and they hope that someone will listen to what they have to say. 2, 4, 6, 8, we won't tolerate your hate. More than 20 people gathered on the FSU Panama City campus Thursday protesting Governor DeSantis' recent request to public universities regarding transgender health data.
And it's important that we all get together, 11 a.m., 12 o'clock, and we step out and we walk out of our classes and we walk out and we say that this is not okay, and it's not okay what he's trying to do to us, and it's not okay what he's trying to do to our universities.
In a survey sent to universities, the governor's office is asking dozens of questions dealing with what it calls gender dysphoria services, including how many people sought sex reassignment treatment and how many people sought puberty blockers and hormones, among other things. We spoke with a local Republican Party leader about the survey.
One of the number one issues I hear from Bay County families on nearly a daily basis is they're concerned about what's going on in our schools. They're concerned about this confusion. And so I'm glad that Governor DeSantis is taking the lead on this, not just here in Florida, but really nationally, and really making a difference.
The governor's office sent us a response. Officials say they are not requesting information about the students, but the services performed by public entities.
Students always have the right to protest. I'm glad they were to find 10 or so willing to do this. But what we know is that the majority of Bay County, and the majority of students at Bay County, love Governor DeSantis.
According to the documents sent to universities, they were asked to ensure all responses do not contain personally identifiable information or protected health information.
It's easy to isolate us, it's able to single us out, and it's easy for Governor Ron DeSantis to swoop in and pull funding from our university for those programs. It's easy for him to identify local clinics that will help with things like mental health counseling or hormone replacement therapy, and for him to pull funding from them, because that's what he's doing. He's here to target and he's here to isolate.
Universities had until February 10th to send the information into the state. Now, I have reached out to Florida State University and FSU Panama City for comment about the survey and have not heard back. Stephen.
All right, thank you, Allison.
A murder in a tight-knit community has left many people stunned, and now they are remembering the victim, who was best known for bringing colorful joy to others.
She was a good person.
Community members were shocked to hear about the murder of Shirley Whittle, who was a florist in the Callaway area. Shirley was stabbed to death Thursday night. The suspect is her grandson, Theron Whittle. Her husband, Buddy Whittle, was also stabbed and is recovering in the hospital.
So this morning, finding out about everything, it was just absolute shock. We could not believe it. It happened this close to home and to someone like that.
Outside of the Whittles' home on Friday were several bouquets of flowers in memory of the florist who tragically lost her life.
It's very surreal. It's very surreal how just everything happened so fast. I'm sure she would have a beautiful arrangement, you know, to make up for this type of situation. But I think the flowers are some of the most appropriate things to leave for her.
Shirley is best known for her floral arrangements at her shop, Callaway Country Florist. News Channel 7 sat down with the Whittles in 2019 when Shirley was invited to help decorate the White House.
And I run across this thing that said the White House, and it was in different font. So I looked at it and I thought, what is this?
It was an invitation.
Invitation to come.
To come.
And I'm thinking, I didn't ask.
Not only did DC recognize her amazing work, her neighbor for more than 40 years says she could always count on Shirley's arrangements, even for her daughter's weddings.
She did a really nice job on her flowers. She was very careful and did a real good job of arranging things beautifully. And good colors, and she seemed to know how to put it together.
Many can only recall good things about Shirley and say a piece will be missing on Colonial Drive, the place the Whittles called home for decades.
She was always constantly checking up on people, making sure everybody was okay, and really had a lot of things to say, you know, about people, and she knew what was going on and how to help them. And that's what she really cared about.
And for Shirley's husband, Buddy, who is recovering, the community will be there for him when he returns.
Buddy, we are so sorry. So unbelievably sorry that this happened. And we wish you all the best. And we hope that we can help you readjust to this and do what we can do for you.
The investigation into the stabbing is ongoing, and so far the suspect has been charged with an open count of murder. For more information on the case, you can go to WJHG.com.
Every day we would find someone's treasure.
James Middleton was just 17 years old when he served in the United States military during World War II. He was initially given 2 dog tags, but later lost one around 10 years ago. When Middleton was preparing to receive a medal for his service, it became a family mission to locate the missing piece of his history.
Now, he had the 1 dog tag, and he'd given it to me, and I wore the 1 dog tag. But when they were going to present him his World War II medal, I wanted to have both dog tags there. However, he'd lost one.
After searching and searching, the family never found it.
So 2018 comes around, and he remembers the dog tag is in his shed outside of his house. So him and I look, but we don't find the dog tag. He passed away that year, 6 months before the hurricane.
Hurricane Michael destroyed the town of Mexico Beach, where the Middletons live.
My parents' house is totally demolished, and the shed is gone. So I know there's no way I'm going to have the 2 dog tags anymore.
Never say never. A few months later, they received a call about some treasure dug up from a neighbor's yard. Turns out the shed's remains were just yards away from where the Middletons once lived.
Everything, all the debris up, just trying to get the lot cleared off. And I had a heavy-duty rake, and I kept digging, and I heard a clang, and I said, something's under here. But we were finding things everywhere. So I kept digging, and I found the chain, and I kept pulling it up, and it ended up being Jim's dog tags.
A moment
years in the making.
I immediately started crying. It was what some people call like a God wink. It was like a nod from God or my dad that, hey, everything's going to be all right.
Giving the Middletons back a memory they thought was lost forever.
It just made you feel good that they could have just one little piece of a memory left after the storm.
Yeah, so many people lost everything they had, and memories about all you have of some of this stuff out here. So it's gratifying to find things like that, but still there's a lot of sorrow still going with it too. So, but we're happy we found it and gave it back to them.
Well, James Middleton was also a police officer in Michigan, and he was actually the first fire chief for Mexico Beach.